Okay, we got to finish up the review for the Chapter 3 test again. So you got your review sheets out. We're on 13 Part B. Okay, so 13B, they ask us to actually use the quadratic formula to solve this. The quadratic formula, remember, is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all of that over 2a. So when we look at Part B, they give us 6x squared plus 12x equals negative 6. Remember, it has to equal 0, so I'm going to add 6 to each side. If we do that, we have 6x squared plus 12x plus 6 equals 0. So in this case, A, B, and C are 6, 12, and 6. And then we plug stuff in. So negative b, the opposite of b is negative 12, plus or minus the square root of b squared. 12 squared is 12 times 12, which is 144, minus 4. 4 is always part of the formula. A times c is 6 times 6, which is 36, over 2a. So over 2 times a, 2 times 6, which is 12. We multiply before we subtract, so we have negative 12 plus or minus the square root of 144 minus 4 times 36. You can use a calculator, it's 144, which is convenient. 144 minus 144 is 0. So if I move that up here, we have negative 12 plus or minus the square root of 0 over 12. Okay. Square root of 0 is 0 because 0 times 0 is 0. Then negative 12 plus 0, that's negative 12 over 12. And negative 12 minus 0 is also negative 12 over 12. And 12 over 12 is 1, so that's negative 1 and negative 1. So, I mean, you can write it twice, but there's only one answer. Just negative 1. That's the only answer, negative 1. Okay? All right, number 14. Okay, so again, use the quadratic formula. We have x squared plus 6x plus 15 equals 0. Okay, so this is already set to go. It equals 0. It's in the right order, so A, B, and C are 1, 6, and 15, remember? Oh, not 6, geez. 1, 6, and 15. 1, 6, and the numbers in front. A is not x, or x squared. It's the number in front of the x squared, which is 1. So negative b is negative 6, plus or minus the square root of b squared. 6 squared is 36, minus 4. 8 times c, 4, or 1 times 15 is 15. Over 2a, so over 2 times 1, which is 2. Again, we multiply before we subtract. Negative 6 plus or minus 36 minus 4 times 15 is 60 over 2. We take 36 minus 60, and that's negative 24. Negative 24 over 2. Okay, and I'll accept this. Well, first off, we have a negative inside the radical, so that means it's imaginary. We talked about that yesterday. Pull the negative out, it turns into I. So negative 6 plus or minus I, radical 24 over 2. We talked about this yesterday. I think it's the exact same number yesterday. Radical 24 does simplify. I'm not going to make you simplify it, okay? You don't need to simplify it. I'll accept that answer, okay? So negative 6 plus or minus I radical 24, all of that over 2, okay? All right, number 15. They ask you for the discriminant. Remember, the discriminant is simply the part of the part of the quadratic formula inside of the square root. So b squared minus 4ac, that's the discriminant. That's the part that's inside the radical on the quadratic formula, okay? And in your notes somewhere, if it was positive, if the discriminant's positive, there are 2 real answers. If it's negative, there's 2 imaginary answers. And if it's 0, if the discriminant's 0, there's 1 real solution. You've got to have that memorized, okay? Again, you know we just talked about it. If it was negative, we just said that there's going to be imaginary solutions, and there's 2 of them because of the plus and minus symbol, okay? If it's positive, it's not going to be imaginary, it's going to be real, and again, there's 2 of them because of the plus and minus symbol, okay? And with 0, it's just 1 real, that's all we really have to memorize. So on this one, they give us x squared plus 8x plus 2 equals 0. What's the discriminant? Okay, and then describe the solutions and the types. So A, B, and C, again, are 1, 8, and 2. 1, 8, and 2. So b squared is 8 squared, which is 64, minus 4. A times c is 1 times 2, which is 2. 64 minus 4 times 2 is 8. 56 is the discriminant. Since it's positive, there are 2 real solutions. And that's all you have to do. The discriminant is 56, 2 real solutions. 16, same instructions. We have negative 12x equals x squared plus 36. This one is not ready to use the discriminant yet because we have to have 0 on one side. So we add 12x to each side. And make sure you put them in the right order. So 0 equals x squared plus 12x plus 36. I'm going to move this up here. Right up here. I think I have room. So again, using b squared minus 4ac. A is 1, B is 12, C is 36. 1, 12, 36. So b squared is 12 squared, which is 144, minus 4. A times c is 1 times 36, which is 36. 4 times 36, I think we did this. Geez, this is really familiar numbers. 144 again. 144 minus 144 is 0, so the discriminant is 0. If it's 0, there is one real solution. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not asking what the answer is. I just want to know that there's one real solution of whatever it is. Okay? Okay, 4 more to go. Number 17. Okay, solve the system. This is one of the tougher questions, I think. Y equals x squared plus x plus 1, and y also equals negative x plus 4. If y equals trash and y equals garbage, trash equals garbage. So let's set those equal to each other. Trash, x squared plus x plus 1 equals garbage, negative x plus 4. It's quadratic, has to equal 0. I'm going to make the right side turn into 0. So get rid of the negative x by adding x. Get rid of the plus 4 by minusing 4. So the right side turns to 0. We have x squared, x and x is 2x. 1 and negative 4 is negative 3. We have to factor this thing, okay? So, we have our two sets of parentheses. There is no common factor here. X squared is x and x. We look at our last term, it's a negative, so plus and a minus. How do you multiply to get negative 3? By add to positive 2, positive 3 and negative 1. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. 3 plus negative 1 is positive 2. So my solutions are x equals negative 3 makes 0, positive 1 equals 0, but you're not done. Got to know what y is. Find out what y is by plugging in negative 3 and positive 1 into either one of these. This one looks easier. If I plug in negative 3 for x, negative 3 is positive 3, plus 4 is 7. Plug in 1. Negative 1 plus 4 is 3. So the answer is negative 3, 7, and 1, 3. Negative 3, 7, and 1, comma 3. Okay, that's a little bit tougher question. Number 18, similar type question, but actually a whole lot easier. Whole lot quicker. Again, solve a substitution. Well, it doesn't say the substitution, that's what we're going to do. X squared plus y squared is 25, and they tell us we have the line y equals 4, but we also have the y value of 4. Y is 4. So you only have to find out what x, actually does it say negative 4? No, it says 4. So we plug in 4. Y is 4, plug it in. X squared plus 4 squared is 25. X squared plus 4 squared is 4 times 4 is 16. Subtract 16 to each side. We can use square roots to solve this because there's only one x. These cancel. 25 minus 16 is 9. Square root. X equals, and the square root of 9 is 3. But remember, it's got to be plus or minus 3. Plus or minus 3. Okay? So, and I already have an answer of y equals 4. So the answer is positive 3, 4 and negative 3, 4. Those are our two solutions. Okay? All right, 2 more to go. 19 and 20. Number 19, they ask us to graph. Remember, when you're graphing inequalities, you have to shade. And I just want a very quick rough graph. That's all I want, just a rough graph. So, this is one that we learned, if it was an equation, we learned this back in chapter 1, back in September. This minus 3 moves it down 3. It was plus 3, move it up 3. The parabola opens upward, and it's a dotted or a dashed parabola because there is no line there. Let's draw your dashed parabola. And it says y is greater than, y is greater above. And again, don't just shade right here. It should be everything above the parabola. Okay? And that's it for that one. It should be a real easy one. If it was less than, you would have shaded below it. And if it had an equal sign, it'd be a solid parabola. Number 20, last one. Solve algebraically. X squared plus 10x is less than negative 9. Again, we have to have 0 on one side, so add 9 to each side. So x squared plus 10x plus 9 is less than 0. And then we're going to factor this thing. There is no common factor, so we draw our two sets of parentheses. X squared is x and x. There's no negatives anywhere, so it's plus and plus. And how do you times to 9 but add to 10? 1 and 9. And it could be 1 and 9 or 9 and 1. It doesn't matter because your first terms are the same. If this was an equation, your solutions would be negative 1 and negative 9. So we draw our number line. Make sure you put them in the right spots. Negative 9 is to the left of negative 1. And then remember, we do a test case, okay? Pick a number to the right of negative 1. I'm going to pick 100. If I plug in 100, 100 plus 1 is 101. 100 plus 9 is 109. I don't know what 101 times 109 is, but it's a really big number. And a really big number is not less than 0. So no, that is not part of the solution. Yes, this is part of the solution. No, because I told you they're going to flip-flop. They're going to alternate every time, okay? So my solution is in between negative 9 and negative 1. So our answer is negative 9 is less than x is less than negative 1. Do I put equal signs under it? No, there were no equal signs to start with, so that's your solution, okay? All right, that's it for the second part of Chapter 3 test review.